Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is that time again. Welcome in on a Wednesday. How are we all doing? Feeling good about ourselves? Feeling good about the day? It's not as muggy and humid and so forth like it used to be for so long. So happy that's gone. I would assume Charlie is even happier. Probably still too warm, but it's better than all that humidity.
It's still muggy, Sparky.
You think it's still muggy?
It's still muggy.
It feels better to me outside. No?
I don't think so.
Maybe I'm crazy. It's all right, though. It's all good.
Oh,
how did yesterday go with Rami Makwa filling in for me? Thank you, Rami, for filling in.
It went great as always. Andrew Wagner wanted me to make sure that he let you know that you're running away from him based on your Twitter beef that you guys were having with each other.
I have no Twitter beef. Let me explain something to you. He comes at me about Suarez, and then a million people go at him about his take, and then he beefs with everybody on Twitter, and I don't really get involved. That's what happens. That's exactly what happens.
You're like the most involved guy with any Twitter beef. If somebody disagrees with you on Twitter, you're going back and forth. You love reading the replies.
Wags, I don't.
That's true.
Nope.
You do in person. When you call him afterwards, that's when you continue it.
Somebody came at me about, because he said that thing about, oh, Suarez sucks or whatever with his numbers and all that. And we had said it on the show that he had struck out a ton and had like one hit at that point after the All-Star break, or after the trade deadline. Then some guy came at me on Twitter, and he was like, Sparky, you wanted to get rid of Made and Pena, or whatever, because they're both up at the Timber Rattlers, home run, triple, doing their thing. Made's playing better than Pena at this point. But and I went back at him, I said, no, I did not want to get rid of Made and Pena for Suarez. I was okay getting rid of Made and Pena if that's what it took to get Ronald Acuna. That's what we were talking about, Made and Pena. Charlie nor I never said anything about Made or Pena in a Suarez deal. Never, ever, ever did that come out of your mouth or my mouth.
No, it did not. So let's not go that far, people.
No, we were not at that level. I heard Bart Winkler was on the show yesterday.
He was on the show yesterday. Rami and Bart, always great together.
Got in my car and heard him talking about court cases and stuff. I was like, okay, well, this is not my show, so what in the world are we talking about? And it took me about 10 to 15 seconds to feel, I felt like, okay, this must be some type of jury story.
It was.
That is going on, right? That's what it was?
So Bart had a very interesting way of getting out of jury duty that he felt the need to share with Rami during that. It was mostly just annoying everybody else around him until they stopped, didn't want him on the jury, basically.
So I'll tell you a quick one of mine. We'll get into the show. Brewers are up 1-0 right now, bottom of 3 as they go for 12 in a row today at American Family Field. The one time that I got picked to go in, right? So I drive down to Milwaukee, down to downtown, and I was like, okay, no idea what I'm doing, but okay, fine. So I get in there. They call your name, you get in the pool, you go in the room. I went into 3 courtrooms the first day, I want to say. And in one of the courtrooms, it was during football season, I think it was, or right before football season. I think it was right before football season. I go in, and I stand up, because they're like, all right, you have to stand up and say who you are and what you do or whatever else. So I stand up. Before I could get a word out of my mouth, the judge from across the courtroom, Sparky, how the Packers going to do this year, man? How the Packers going to look? I was like, yeah, man, it'd be all right. But whatever. Everybody's laughing. I sit down. I was like, oh, they're not picking me. That's probably going to happen. That night, I go back down to get my car, and one of the lawyers from one of the court cases saw me. He's like, hey, Sparky, listen to you all the time. I said, so what are the chances I'm going to get picked? He said, you could be the last person in this building, and they're still not picking you. I said, okay, fair enough. At least I know now.
Is that a bad thing?
So I went back the next day knowing that was not going to happen according to this lawyer, and I got 2 more courtrooms, 2 more. We're good. We don't want you. and you move on. So normally, if you do this line of business, they never pick you.
Is that a bad thing?
They do news talk. I'll be honest. If you do a news talk show, they should just take you out of the jury pool. That should just be a law because nobody's picking you. No. It's not happening.
I would be so worried that anybody in any kind of media would be wanting to share information about that. No way. That's not happening.
Correct. I don't.
That's not a bad thing in my mind. I don't know.
No, it's fine.
I don't want to be picked for jury duty.
No, I don't either. But I'm just saying. I heard the Bart story and I was like, oh, I can contribute a little bit to it. All right, coming up on today's show, guest free. Guest free for a couple of different reasons. Number one, the Brewers are going on, and I figure a bunch of people are probably watching the Brewers game or listening to the Brewers game with a 12-game winning streak on the line. So that's the first reason. Secondly, outside of really the Packers, I'm not sure there's a ton else really going on one way or the other. So we got topics, we got stuff we're going to get to. If you're listening to us and wanting Brewers updates from us, we'll give them to you throughout the game. And then after the game is done, we'll do a little mini post-game show, as we always do here on the show. I want to start out first talking about the Green Bay Packers. And I was, as we always do on this show, I don't know if they did it yesterday with Rami, but every time there is a training camp day, we do a training camp recap, right? And we kind of go through Andy Herman or Ryan Wood or Matt Schneidman, whoever, through their tweets and kind of talk about what they were seeing at training camp practice and talk about the good, the bad, all that stuff. So obviously yesterday, I was out of the office, so I wasn't here. So I had no time to be looking at anything like that. So I was like, okay, no big deal. I will just simply go and look at it when I get home. So last night, after the kids went to bed and everything else, got on my phone and started going back and reading stuff. Journal Sentinel has a nice write-up recapping everything that happened that day. So thank you to those guys. I think Pete Doherty wrote it. So I went back and looked at it. Brewers up 2-0 now. That was Christian Yelich RBI single, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So I go back and I look. Couple of different things. Number one, the injuries just don't stop. And we'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later at 3 o'clock. We're going to move that green and gold update up to number 3, or to the 3 o'clock hour, because I'm anticipating the Brewers be done around 4. So green and gold update brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook coming up at 3. But the injuries are just stupid. I mean, it's nice that you get Marshawn Lloyd back. Now, do we want to start a pool for how long it is before he's out again? Well, let me ask you this. If we said over, under, right? Over, under. Vaughn just smoked the line shot. The second baseman caught it. Oh, well. So 2-0. Brewers left a couple of runners on through 3 now for the Crew. And Woodruff also have a couple of walks this pitch well so far. I gave you an over, under of 7 days. 1 week from today. Will he be practicing? Will he still be healthy 7 days from now? That might be a record for Marshawn Lloyd. If we're being honest, I would have to check, but it might be a record if he was healthy for 7 consecutive days and practicing at any point. I don't know if it ever happened last year. I don't know if we'll get 7 days in. Over under 7 days, Marshawn Lloyd is still practicing and not watching Wednesday. Next Wednesday at this point.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say under. I think that at some point here, he has to be able to stay on the field for an extended period of time.
So over, you're saying, not under. You're saying over 7 days.
No, I want him back on the field in under 7 days.
No. I'm saying he was back on the field yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? So now we're going to start practicing.
Yes.
Do you think he's still healthy 7 days from now?
Yes, I do think
so you're saying over 7 days, he'll continue to practice?
Yes, I think so. Again, I think that at some point here, he has to find a way to stay healthy. The coaching staff has to find a way to keep him healthy if you want to be that backup running back, which I know we had some all right contributions last Saturday from the backup running back committee group. Yeah. But at the same time, this is the guy that you want to be that second person, right? So you have to find a way to keep him being in that second spot.
Football Talk on the Fan presented to you by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL games live every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. I have zero to little faith that Marshawn Lloyd will still be healthy in 7 days. Very little. Furthermore, if I take it to the next level, he won't play in either one of these preseason games, Colts or Seahawks. He ain't playing. I have no interest in watching him play. I'll take it a step further. He ain't playing in the scrimmages during the week either when we got these guys. Because they're doing a 1-game scrimmage against the Colts tomorrow down in Indy, right? And then you got a 1-day scrimmage in Seattle next week. Zero chance this dude is going to be. I'm putting bubble wrap on this cat. I mean, like, you are going to be healthy when we kick off the regular season against the Lions. I am not taking any more chances with you. You practice during the week against our own guys where it's controlled, and then in week 1, I'll let you play against somebody else. I am not taking any chances at this point. Because, again, from a talent perspective, I think this kid could be really, really good. I do. I like Marshawn Lloyd a lot coming out of college.
I do too. I just also feel like that from what we've seen from this Packers offense, it's pretty easy to find a backup running back at this point. Like I said, you got some all right contributions from him. You want him to be that spot, but you also need him to prove that he can be that backup running back. Holding him out of practices and holding him out of preseason games doesn't give him an opportunity to prove himself. And if other guys are going to go out there and play really well, then those guys should get the opportunity to be the second string back because Marshawn Lloyd hasn't given you enough right now to prove that he is secured that spot.
Okay, but you have Wilson, Brooks, and Lloyd. So how do you stack it? Are you keeping all of them? You keeping 4 running backs?
I mean, they did last year for most of the time.
But that's because Lloyd was out.
I know, but at the same time, you still did it. And I think what we're seeing through a lot of NFL teams now is that a committee backfield works a little bit more. And you want to keep Josh Jacobs off the field a little bit more this season. Like you had talked about a couple times here. Yep. That means you need more legs to be healthy in that backfield, which means, yes, maybe you do keep 3 guys back there.
Now, speaking of that backfield, somebody's got to block for those cats back there. So Rasheed Walker, hey, I can play. I'm back. My groin's feeling all right. I feel better about myself. My question is this. As a Packers fan, what do you think will be Jordan Morgan's role when the season starts? What do you think his role is going to be in week 1 against the Detroit Lions? Is he starting at left tackle? Is he starting at right guard? Is he a bench player? Because he's not starting at left guard over Banks, even though Banks appears to be very, very much of a project at this point. I would have assumed he would have been a little bit more sharp, right? Being a veteran, not sharp at all. But again, you pay him that much money. He's not sitting. So Banks is at left guard. Jenkins is at center. Those are not up for debate. You just paid Zach Tom a boatload of money. So I'm assuming if you were moving him to guard, it's probably not happening now, at least as of where we sit. So it's Morgan at left tackle or Morgan at right guard against Sean Ryan. So far, he's only been at left tackle. That's where he's played a majority of the time and been playing in front of Walker, who was hurt. So what do you think will be Jordan Morgan's role right now when the season starts? Call your shot. Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Sound off with a recorded voice message on the Odyssey app as well. And don't forget Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. You can always get to us that way. And there, of course, is YouTube, live streaming all of our shows on YouTube. Just search The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube, and you will find us. You'll find shorts, different videos cut up from different past shows as well. Again, check it out. The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. Subscribe, like, share, all that fun stuff, and you will like it. If you think, we're all right to look at. I mean, some of y'all may tune in and be like, damn, Sparky, you guys bigger than I thought it was. I ain't watching YouTube. Man, hell with this. I'll go back and listen on the radio. I mean, that could happen. I
think that makes it more fun to watch.
I wouldn't. Why? To see the bobblehead bobble?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Funny guy. That's Charlie using. So you can also chat with us on YouTube as well. That's where I was going with that whole conversation. And we can read that there. And, of course, I personally like phones the best, but 414-677-1250. Charlie, what do you think will be Jordan Morgan's role when the season starts?
He's going to be the backup left tackle. I don't think, like you said,
he's not going to start at guard either?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you can take Aaron Banks out of that lineup for the exact reason that you said. You paid him a lot of money, and you have to let him prove himself in the regular season, at least for a little bit. Now, just because he's the backup left tackle to start the season doesn't mean he won't get a chance at guard at some point in the season. There's a shot that if Aaron Banks is not as good as he is, maybe you do need to start doing a rotation. Or a guy like Aaron Banks, like, again, I've mentioned before in Chicago, a guy like Nate Davis, who they signed for a lot of money to play offensive guard. Yeah. When he wasn't playing well, he had some attitude issues. He had some problems off the field where he needed to be at home instead of being with the Chicago Bears and wouldn't tell the Bears where to be. If a guy starts playing bad, their demeanor can change a lot. And I'm not saying Aaron Banks is that that type of guy, but you have to be a little bit concerned about that, and you have to have a plan for that in the future. So yeah, maybe he gets to guard somewhere. But right now, Rasheed Walker, you need to see what you have out of him because he's going into a contract year. So you have to give him the opportunity at left tackle, and he hasn't done anything to prove that he doesn't deserve that role. And Jordan Morgan, so far in the preseason, hasn't really shown anything to say that he does deserve that role over a guy like Rasheed Walker. So because of that, you have to keep him at that backup left tackle. Now, what helps him is that the other backup offensive linemen haven't looked very good either. Jacob Monk did not look good in that first preseason game. That was a little bit unfortunate. I really like Jacob Monk. But that means a guy like Jordan Morgan is going to get more opportunities than him, even more than he already has. I think this is something
Is Monk the one that's out?
I believe so.
Yeah, Monk's out. That's that. I'm pretty sure that Jacob Monk is the guy that is out now going forward. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
But yeah, so Jordan Morgan, I think, starts the season at that backup left tackle spot. Again, with guys all around him, whether they're hurt or not playing well, it helps him get more opportunities, but not to start the season.
Correct. And that's the one thing that I'm kind of curious to see how this is all going to play out going forward. Is I'm not convinced that the right guard position is Sean Ryan's for sure. I'm not there. I think one way or the other, there's going to be an issue, I think, going forward. Maybe it's not Monk. Who is the backup offensive lineman that's hurt? One of those backup offensive linemen is out for, I think the year with a shoulder injury. And obviously it's not Monk. I don't know. He'll figure it out. I'm spacing on which one it was. But one of those backups is out for the year. So this is the thing. If he's not going to win left tackle, then I think he's going to be given every opportunity to win right guard. The question is, really, how long do they give him to win left tackle before they bail on that idea and say, to hell with it, you're not beating him out, we're going to move you to right guard for preseason game number 3 and see what you look like there versus Sean Ryan? I was going to ask the question, are you rooting for Jordan Morgan to win the left tackle position? That was going to be my question. Because I think if we're being honest, Goody is rooting for Jordan Morgan to win the left tackle battle, right? I think LaFleur is rooting for Jordan Morgan to win the left tackle battle. Because if Rasheed Walker is off the bench in the swing tackle, two things here. One, you've destroyed all value that he has on the open market, and he becomes a lot cheaper at the end of the day for the Packers to re-sign as a swing tackle, and you destroy any chances he has of going out there and making $12 to $15 million a year, right? We just had Mike Wall on, former Packers offensive lineman, on the show on Monday in our first hour at 2:40, and he talked about the idea of Jordan Morgan's probably going to make somewhere around $15 million a year on the open market next year after what he's done in left tackle. But if he loses the job and he doesn't even start, he's a swing tackle, they ruin his next contract, destroy it. So now maybe you get him to come back as a swing tackle. Doubt it, because he'd probably be bitter at you for letting Jordan Morgan win that job. But I think that's part of it. As a Packer fan, man, I'd root for Jordan Morgan to win that job. I want the vet in there at left tackle. I don't want any rookie, quote, mistakes. He didn't play hardly at all last year. He was hurt. So technically, this would be like a rookie year if he's starting 17 games at left tackle. He's going to make mistakes. Young offensive linemen always do. I'd much rather have a veteran left tackle out there in Rasheed Walker going forward than Jordan Morgan possibly getting Jordan Love blindsided and killed in a football game at this point. So I'm rooting for Rasheed Walker. They're rooting for Jordan Morgan, I think, Charlie.
I think so, too. It was John Williams who's been out with a back injury. He just got put on the PUP list.
That must be who I was thinking of.
I think so. So with Jordan Morgan, the only value I can see out of actually giving him that opportunity to maybe play left tackle or at least in some kind of rotation with a Rasheed Walker is, yes, I get what you're saying. You don't want a rookie left tackle out there for 17 games this season. But at the same time, he's a first-round draft pick. And if he's a guy that you had expected to play at left tackle at some point for this team in the future, then you have to start giving him that opportunity earlier in his career. The longer that you let him sit as a backup left tackle, like you said, it hurts his contract chances in the future. Yes, that's something.
Travis Glover is who I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Glover's out with season-ending injury. That's who I was thinking of. I knew it was a backup offensive lineman. Go ahead. Sorry.
Gotcha. So Jordan Morgan, I feel like because he has that first-round pedigree, because he's a guy that you put a lot of value in because you're the Green Bay Packers and you felt like this is the best draft pick, you want to believe in him, I think the longer you let him stay out of that starting spot, or the longer you force him out of that starting spot, the more it shows that you really didn't have that faith in him. And if I'm Brian Gutekunst and a guy like Lucas Van Ness maybe doesn't play as well this season as a lot of people are expecting him to take that next step.
Hoping. Not expecting, hoping.
I'm expecting him to.
No, stop.
I'm expecting him to.
No, stop. In order to have expectations, he has to have done something. No, but not even his own family can say they expect him to get double-digit sacks or to do something
I didn't say
great.
double-digit. I keep saying 7.5 sacks. That's all I'm looking for from him. That's all I'm looking for. I think that's good enough. Especially if Rashawn Gary gets his usual 8 sacks, hopefully.
Yeah, 8 or 9.
That'd be good. I'd be happy with that. So if he doesn't take that next step and get a 7.5 sack season or something like that, I mean, really, Brian Gutekunst, a guy that's looking for his job, Matt LaFleur, a guy that's looking to extend his job, both of them, I think these are a couple of players that you have to start giving an opportunity to prove that you made the right choice at some point here. And if both of them aren't going to get that chance, or both of them aren't going to exceed at that chance, it makes it a lot scarier for those two in their future.
I, myself, would never put all my eggs in the basket of Lucas Van Ness. That's just me. That's what they did. And maybe, Cox Jr. bails him out and ends up taking that job and becoming a great pass rusher. There might be a chance of that happening, right? Engebare maybe steps up. He has a big year. He has shown flashes here the last couple of years. So maybe that's how they get bailed out on this. I would love to see Van Ness do really good, but I would not feel comfortable putting all my eggs in that basket. With Jordan Morgan, you don't have to. You got to vet. The only reason you're doing it is to convince yourself that you don't got to go draft another one in the draft next year if you don't want to pay Rasheed Walker. This is about seeing what I need in the draft more than it's about protecting Jordan Love in my mind.
That's true, but you already know what you need in the draft. Like you said, you're putting all your eggs in the basket of a Lucas Van Ness because you're trying to see if you need a defensive end or a pass rusher.
But this is the thing, Charlie. Okay, that makes sense. But a left tackle is more important than a pass rusher. If it's me, I got $50-some million in Jordan Love. I'm more concerned about protecting that man's blind side than I am about getting to the other quarterback. I can blitz. I can do other things. I've already got money tied up in Rashawn Gary. I think that's a conversation that makes the most sense here. So if I'm saying I need a left tackle and I need a second pass rusher, it's left tackle all day.
But also, if you feel like you still need a left tackle, or you feel like that in the near future you're going to need a left tackle, then just pay Rasheed Walker, because I really don't think he's going to be that expensive.
Would make the most sense. RBI single by Joey Ortiz. He continues to be red hot to score Blake Perkins. Charlie, I mean,
I don't know, man.
You don't know.
I'm sorry, Joey. I was mean to you earlier in the season. You've been nice lately. It's all right. I'm cool.
He's been on fire in August. Absolutely on fire in August. What is going on with Sal Frelick and Bryce Terang's power?
I have no idea.
I thought he hit that out. He did hit that out. That was a 2-run jack by Frelick. I was like, that can't be a double. It says 2-run home run, but he's standing at second. That wasn't a home run? It bounced off something. It had to bounce off something over the fence, didn't it?
I think so. I feel like it had to.
It bounced back. I swear to God, I don't think it hit the wall, did it? I don't understand.
Think so.
The graphics at 2-run homer on the FanDuel Sports Network, he crushed that ball. 93 miles an hour, absolutely freely turned on it to right field. Didn't it hit the upper deck and bounce back?
That's what it looks like to me.
I don't understand. Well, I guess. He said it looks like it's off the wall. All right. Obviously, I saw it wrong on TV because even on the replay, it didn't look like it to me. Either way, Frelick RBI double. 52 extra base hits this month, best in baseball.
That's pretty good. That's pretty awesome.
Dude, this team is crazy. And what has gotten into Bryce Terang? Where did all this power come from?
I don't know. I know Tommy Wirtz is okay with it.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, it's insane.
I love it. It's awesome. This is what we were looking for from this Brewers team, is somebody to, again, take that next reign, because we didn't go out and get a Eugenio Suarez.
They all have.
It's awesome.
It's not one guy.
It's Willie Contreras. It's Bryce Terang. It's Sal Frelick.
Got going. Ortiz is
Blake
going.
Perkins, whenever he gets out there. Isaac Collins. Everybody, man. Christian Yelich. He's been awesome lately, too.
Absolutely nuts. All right, take a quick time. I'll come back on the other side. I want to talk a little bit about the Brewers farm system. Rankings coming out today by Baseball America. But this is my thing. How much does it really matter where the farm system is ranked? We've seen the Brewers farm system be ranked really high with Braun and Fielder and Hart and Hardy and Weeks and all those guys, right? We've seen it. We've been there. Did it net us a World Series? We'll talk about that coming up next. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Fifer here with you. Time for your fan weather forecast. 81 degrees, partly cloudy skies, real feel of 83. So to Charlie's point, it still is a little humid outside, I guess. Looking at tonight's forecast, looks pretty nice. Doesn't look like any rain in the forecast, which is always a good thing. A low of 62. I got to tell you, I feel like this is Cub fans' theme song right now for the last couple of weeks. I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me? Cub fans are off the rails right now. Off the rails. Now they're showing on TV. It's 6-0 Brewers, by the way. They're now showing on TV all these people at George Webb in 87 making all of these burgers all over, and George Webb having a bunch of people in it. The last time this happened was 18, I believe.
I think so.
But
Yep.
It was regular to postseason, and they still honored it. So last time in the regular season this happened was when they won 13. And that was in April. That was to start the season, right? Do you remember what happened? Well, you don't know, but do you know what happens in May of 1987 after the 13-game winning streak in April of 1987?
No idea.
They go on to lose 12 straight in May of 1987.
Did George Webb make people refund their burgers?
That would have been funny. We want all your damn money back. Could you imagine if they gave out a certificate right now that says, if they lose 12 in a row between now and the end of the year, we would like our money back, full refund. I mean, they're not going to be able to claim it.
You bring us a burger.
Right.
You make us a burger. You head on the grill.
Crazy. So anywho, 6-0 right now. Top of 5. Brewers up there, so we'll see how this goes. Brandon Woodruff pitching really well in this game. Gave up a couple walks, but otherwise has looked really good. All right, let's talk about the Brewers farm system here. So J.R. Radcliffe put this out on the Journal-Sentinel website earlier today, and J.R. Radcliffe talked about the idea of Baseball America announcing that the Milwaukee Brewers, your Milwaukee Brewers, are ranked number one farm system in all of baseball, and their newest updated rankings for the farm system. Now, that is all fine and dandy, and I am happy about that. Tommy Wirtz is ecstatic. I texted him when I saw it go up before the show as well. Where do some of our guys land? Jacob Mizorowski still on the list. Number 4 in all of baseball. Number 4 in all of baseball. Okay? Logan Henderson, number 97. So he barely scoots in at the bottom side of that. Jesus Mate with the Timber Rattlers. He's ranked number 3. Luis Pena with the Timber Rattlers now. He's ranked number 16. Cooper Pratt with Double-A Biloxi ranked 47. Jefferson Cuero, who's been hurt and came back, a couple months ago, he's at 69. He's up with the Nashville Sounds. So those are all good ones, right? So Baseball America wrote in its summary, just having 2 of the top 5 prospects in baseball, another top 20 prospect would have put the Brewers in the top 5. 3 more top 100 prospects pushes them into the top spot. The publication lauded the Brewers for their quantity of talented infielders, invoking more names like Luke Adams, Andrew Fisher, who, by the way, is moving on up. Did you see where they're moving him on up to?
I haven't, no. Where are they moving him to?
Wisconsin.
All right.
Right to Appleton. Skipping Carolina, right to the Timber Rattlers. He's going to go. Brady Abel, who they just drafted, and as well as Fisher, and Brock Wilken. If there's a weakness, it's power. As Baseball America wrote, the Brewers farm system, like the big league club, is focused more on athletic, defensively versatile position players than hulking sluggers. Fisher's addition in the draft helps add some pop, though. I would disagree. They took Blake Burke last year out of Tennessee. He's a power hitter, a first baseman, right? Fisher is a first baseman who they're going to try and play at third again. He's athletic enough. He can play anywhere. But so Fisher is going to play third for the time being. But he was at first base for Tennessee this year, replacing Blake Burke. They have taken some bigger guys. Bovee, Batanti, those guys were all taller, bigger dudes with the potential to become power guys at some point. They have, in my opinion, since Stearns stepped away and Arnold stepped in, I feel like they have taken more of an approach of finding more power guys than they did under David Stearns, where they drafted all small dudes, right, in the middle of the lineup. Brian Reynolds just cut the lead in half. A 3-run homer off Shelby Miller here in the top of the 5th. Why is Woodruff out?
I am not sure. I didn't even notice he was out.
Well, you notice now.
Let's see.
So they never even gave Woodruff the opportunity to finish this?
He went 65 pitches in 4 innings. So maybe that's why.
Look at the play-by-play. He walked the first guy and then got pulled, or was that Miller that walked the first guy? See, this is not. Unless Woodruff.
Miller's been in this whole inning.
Miller started the inning, so he walked the first guy. Not good. And the reason it's not good is because if Woodruff is only going to be allowed to throw 65 pitches, that is not positive going forward. I hope he is healthy and okay. That would be my first thing I would say, is if he's healthy and okay, I guess fine, so be it. It's the Pirates, you're up 6-0. Let's be safe and pull him, with less pitches because he's coming back from the shoulder issue and whatever else, and play it out and see what happens. But yeah, not ideal to give up a 3-run shot upon coming in with nobody out on top of it. He finally just got a ground out. So the Brewers farm system is ranked number 1 by Baseball America. MLB Pipeline, Charlie went and looked at that, and they are ranked number 4 by MLB Pipeline. The question is, how much does it really matter at the end of the day to have a top-ranked farm system as an organization, right? Like the Milwaukee Brewers. How big of a deal truly is it Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Sound off with a recorded voice message on the Odyssey app. And, of course, you can chat with us on YouTube as we're live streaming The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. So, for me, I love it because I'm completely addicted to NBA draft, NFL draft, MLB draft, all the different minor leaguers in the all the different minor leaguers coming up, right? And watching all their stats and watching them develop and being able to be like, oh, dude, I saw that guy play at Wisconsin. I told y'all 3 years ago he was going to be a stud, right? When he pans up. So I can get down with that. However, when you're a small market team and you are the Milwaukee Brewers, you must have a farm system that can be your lifeline to sustainability of playing at a high level and being in contention every single year. You must have a good farm system. You can't buy your way out like you can with the Dodgers, the Yankees, and so forth. I've seen this show before, though. And I've seen it at a much bigger deal. For those of you that are a little bit older, you don't have to be a lot older necessarily, but that are a little bit older at this time. This video is way too close. I apologize to those of you on YouTube. We had Braun, we had Fielder, we had Hart, we had Weeks, we had Hardy, all those cats, right? And what did that get us? It didn't get us a ring. It didn't even get us to the World Series at that point. And I think you can argue that group of position players is probably better than the group of position players that they currently have coming between Carolina and Wisconsin and what they have at AA, right? That there probably isn't a Fielder in this group. There's probably not a Braun in this group. Braun came out of college and went. Fielder came out of high school and he went. Hart, I believe, was high school. Hardy, I believe, was high school. Weeks was college. Weeks was a Golden Spikes Award winner. He was at the top of the draft. I think you could argue Ricky Weeks did not pan out the way everybody thought he was going to pan out as far as what his offense ended up looking like. And then his defense was a whole nother deal. But they won. They were together. Braun eventually caught up to him quickly. But those other cats, they won it. Low A. They won at high A. They won at double A. They won championships at every level as they all moved together as a team. And the manager moved with them, right? He moved with them at every level. And I thought, hey, they're winning at every level down there. They're going to win up here, man. Like, eventually this is all going to pan out and we're going to have the most talented team like we do. It never happened. So as much as I am excited about how great this farm system is and can't wait to see Made and Pena and Pratt and all these guys up here at the major league level, and I think they're going to be good, sometimes you got to put on the brakes a little bit and go, okay, we've been to this show before. We've seen what this looks like, and it didn't work out the last time. It worked out from the aspect of getting us out of a 26-year funk. It worked out from the aspect of becoming that team that goes to the playoffs most years, right? It worked from that aspect. It worked from the Mark Attanasio aspect of providing a summer of fun and entertainment, right? Fielder did that. Braun did that. Hardy, Weeks, they all gave us great memories of watching them at American Family Field. And for a large part, it brought people back to Brewers baseball for the first time in decades. It brought kids that were in college who could care less about baseball to the baseball field. And they started grilling out. They started tailgating and all of that. Now those kids have kids and they're bringing their kids to the games and doing tailgating and everything else. But those kids, the college kids that are now parents of those smaller kids now, the parents of those college kids then weren't coming to County Stadium. They had written off the Brewers or didn't care about baseball. It was horrible. So they don't even watch. They lost probably one or two generations of fan bases because of how bad they had been for so long. So that group, while they know they didn't get to the World Series or anything like that, they brought back fans to the Brewers games. Now 6'4", Shelby Miller getting hit all over the park. All over. And now he's got to go get Shelby Miller. Pretty sure he was regretting, Pat Murphy is, yanking Woodruff, unless Woodruff is hurt. I have no idea. He couldn't even get out of the damn inning here in the 5th.
This is not the most fun way. I mean, again, Woodruff was pitching great. I get 65 pitches is the limit, sure, but come on.
I don't know what's going on. Murphy's out there arguing something. Is he going to make him go back to third? Oh, yeah. Should be 6. So it's 6-3. So 6-3, second and third, 2 outs. Here, I thought he was going to go get him. Is he still going to go get him?
It looks like he's still going to go get him. He's going up to the mound right now.
Yep. He made the move.
Uh-huh.
I really hope Woodruff isn't hurt, because otherwise, I don't get it. All right, let's go to Jeff in Greendale. You're next on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. How much of a deal is it really that the Brewers have the #1 farm system in baseball by Baseball America, Jeff?
Well, first of all, good afternoon, Sparky. Good to talk to you again.
Thanks.
And I want to say quickly, you got the best producer around.
Charlie?
Give him a raise.
Yeah.
Give him a raise if you can.
Thanks,
Not you,
Jeff.
but the station.
Well, you can always go visit Charlie at his bar and then just leave him a nice tip, and you can give him a raise. And that way I don't got to. My guy Jeff is giving me my NIL front money guy.
There you go.
Yeah, that's how this is going to work.
Well, you got to tell me where the bar is.
Raise
first,
grain in
and then
Waukesha. Raise grain in Waukesha.
Okay. Well, it has to be after this weekend because I'm out of
Fair
town.
enough. I'll be there.
Fine. I was joking. I wasn't expecting him to plug his bar, nor you to actually want to go do it. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, I think it's very important. Not if we even get #1, which is awesome, but I think it's an important thing overall. I can remember my first Brewer game when I was 6 years old in 7 years old in 76. And it was dead. And then all the years in between as far as what was coming up to the Brewers. Then all of a sudden you got 2 Hall of Famers that come up through your system, Molitor and Yount. Not you're going to get Hall of Famers every time. I'm just saying they started to get better in the 80s, and look what happens when you got a good farm system. And all the ones that you mentioned, Sparky, that came through. So it's going to have its ups and downs, but if you can have a consistent, good farm team, you're going to be there for the most part. And also it gives you good ammunition to go get someone. If your team is getting there to that point, well, I'm not like this year, but I'm just saying if your team's getting there to that point, now you have ammunition to go get that piece, whatever it may be, a pitcher, a hitter, whatever it is. You got a good ammunition to say, I can go get that guy if you have an ownership that will do that. But I think it's huge. I think it's a big point. And all the points you pointed out, Sparky, were valid points and good points. I just look at it as if you can keep it. I've been through those lean years where you kind of go, what in the world is coming up here? We just signed a bunch of free agents, and you kind of go, all right, what's the batting order after Molitor and Yount? It was just, you just went out to the game to be at the game and had no clue half the time what your lineup was going to be because they signed some free agent from Kansas City or wherever that's sitting on the bench. You know, it was just, you had some lean years as a Brewer fan. But
do you remember when they moved into American Family Field and they spent all that money on Jeffrey Hammonds, the outfielder, to come here? Spent a lot of money, and that dude was not good. He wasn't healthy. It was not good. And then furthermore, going back to what you said about back in the 80s, you know, everybody can be mad about the Paul Molitor, Bud Selig fiasco that essentially had Molitor leaving because Bud lowballed him. But I'll tell you, the other thing that people don't talk about enough, that him not figuring out a way how to keep Harry Dalton there for as long as Harry Dalton wanted to be there as GM, that is where it was the beginning of the end. Because once Dalton left, they struggled for a long time to figure out the magic again.
You're right. You're absolutely. And it was. I mean, he was the guy. And how long did it take Seeley Seeley Preeb, his daughter, you know, and all them.
Well, she was the one that hired Doug Melvin. She should get credit for all of this.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking of the guy before. There was someone, who was it?
Sal Bando Jr. was there for a while as well.
Okay. Yeah, I just know there was like a GM. I'm trying to blank.
Let me look up. Let me see if I can find who you're talking about.
Was it Previs, maybe? He was kind of a shorter guy. I'm trying.
Well, that's Wendy Seelig. You're talking about Preeb. He wasn't a GM, right? That's who Wendy married. Was Laurel Preeb, but he wasn't the general. He wasn't the general manager.
I thought he was in that. Okay, my fault.
No. He wasn't the general manager. But let me go back here and see if I can come up with who the general managers were in order here. Okay, so it was Harry Dalton to 91. Then Bando took over in 91 to 99.
That's right.
Then it was Dean Taylor, who came from Atlanta from 99 to 2002. Now, I will say this about Dean Taylor, because he deserves credit as well for Braun and Fielder and all those guys. That's because
It was his farm director, Jack Sorensic, that was here when Doug Melvin came here. He kept Sorensic, and then Jack and Doug drafted the rest of it. Sorensic and Dean Taylor are the ones that had that farm system going prior to Doug getting here, and then Doug was instrumental in drafting Braun that year.
Okay. Wow, you got a great memory. Better than mine, man.
That's kind of the history of how that whole thing played out. Thanks for the call, buddy. I'll take care.
Real quick question, Sparky.
Sure.
Who was the guy, when you were mentioning about Hammonds, who was the guy that was an outfielder? I think he came from Texas, but you can correct me on this. But I just remember watching the game, and they were like following him with the camera. He didn't make the game. They traded for him. He was an outfielder, I believe, and they were just following, the camera was following him in the walkway, the gangway, to try to get to the Brewer game in time. But they're making this big deal out of this guy. Oh, gosh, I wish it was.
He never played for the Brewers?
He did play, but he was supposed to be like this big savior, if you want to call it, outfield power that we were supposed to get. And they were making it, but he never made it. He didn't get there in time before the start of the game, so he couldn't be in the lineup. So he was in the dugout and everything. But I just remember the cameras following him, and I wish I could remember. I could picture the guy. He was not tall. He was kind of a stocky outfielder, and I thought he came from the Rangers, I believe. But I just remember this big. That was supposed to be another big player that the Brewers were going to bring in on a trade.
Well,
that didn't pan out.
I'm trying to think, like there was the Kevin Reimer deal for Dante. Kevin Reimer, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Reimer was one of the guys, and then Dante Bichette went in a deal. Kevin Reimer. No, that did not work out. In fact, isn't Kevin Reimer the one where the ball bounced off his head over the fence one time? I think that might be. Thanks for the call. I can't remember. I think it might have been Kevin Reimer who had that issue. Yeah, but Reimer was supposed to be the big power hitter. How this was all supposed to play out for the Brewers. I mean, you really are lucky you were born when you were born, man. You just are. Maybe you'll go through the horrible sports years like a lot of us older people have been through.
I'm a Bears fan.
But you literally, who cares?
I'm going through horrible sports years.
Yes, but I mean, you can go watch winning teams whenever you want.
That's true.
I mean, you can. You can go watch one of the best players in. You watch one of the best players in the NBA any home game to go watch Giannis. We had good players, right? I mean, when I was growing up, we had really good players like Marcus Johnson, Terry Cummings, Alvin Robertson, all those guys. So we had good players. So that's not a knock on anybody. But you just never had it all. Then you had Glenn, you had Ray, you had Michael Redd. So you always had good players. But you never had Jordan, Shaq, Kobe. You never had players like that as far as where they were on the scale of things in the NBA at that point. You never had a top 3 player in the NBA ever on this basketball team until Giannis. And that's how you win a championship as well. Man, crazy. So old. So old. But no matter how old I am, I love me some Wendy's. And we were there last night as well. So get this. I went to the game, to the Brewers game last night, Cub Scout night, all that. And they ate there. They got nachos. He had a hot dog. They had ice cream, whatever. I had a soda. That was it. I was like, man, stuff's
lame.
Stuff's expensive.
You got to get like a Dippin' Dots or something.
Stuff's expensive here. I was like, I'm not gonna. So I was like, you all eat what you want, but I want Wendy's after. So then by the time we get to Wendy's, both the kids are still hungry. I'm hungry too. I want this. So the one gets a double stack. A plain doubles. No, he got a 10-piece nugget. Then the other one got a kid's meal. She wasn't hungry at all. I got 2 double stacks, order of fries, right? And it all came in the Wednesday Addams thing, right?
The misfortune
Friday, the Wendy's, the Wednesday Addams came in the fry container for it. They got the special looking like blood dripping Frosty up on the screen and all of that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. No doubt.
I might try that tonight.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool. The Meal of Misfortune, devised by Wednesday Addams, is available now at Wendy's, where you must surrender to your fate. It comes with rest and 10-piece nugs, small crispy fries, and a small Raven's Blood Frosty. And, of course, 2 of 4 mysterious dips of dread to up the torment. In Wednesday's words, I keep wanting to say Wendy's words, but it's Wednesday.
It's really close.
Yes, Wednesday's words, it's pure torture and tribute to the suffering that awaits us all from the drips of dread. And the best part is you never know what you'll get. each uniquely insufferable in its own torturous way. It's got to be Wendy's. Watch Wednesday, Season 2, only on Netflix. Available for a limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's while supplies last. I've always kind of wanted to retire when I get to that point and just work at Disney World and do like some fun ride where you can like do voices and stuff or something like that. I think that would be fun.
That would be pretty cool. Also on the YouTube chat, Nick over there says it was Kevin Mensch that you guys were talking about.
Oh, Kevin Mensch. Well, that's another one. But I don't ever think of Kevin Mensch as being any good, I guess.
I want to be an
Kevin
usher.
Mensch is who he's probably talking about.
I want to be an usher at a baseball stadium. That's my goal when I'm old. I don't want to talk really that much. I just want to stand there and watch baseball.
You'll change your mind. You played on an offensive line. You are not going to want to be an usher with your knees. Hey, no chance.
I saw some of those old dudes like at the old Brewers games. They'd be sitting down in the front row just hanging out.
There's old dudes at the Brewers game last night. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying with your history of playing football, I don't know.
I'll throw on some knee braces.
Maybe. Reimer came from the Rockies at Bichette Rockies deal, I believe. And Mensch was a Ranger. Oh, my God. This is the other thing. We're way late again for break. This is the other one for Brewers history, you old people. Do you remember, how did that change again? I just moved it. This video camera, I'm going to take it. I'm going to throw it out the window. That's what's going to happen. Nelson Cruz. Do you remember Nelson Cruz?
I do remember Nelson Cruz, yeah.
So the Brewers traded Nelson Cruz. Nelson Cruz at that time was pretty much a 4-star AAA player.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes off and has a great career. And everybody now, revision history is like, I knew he was going to be good. They screwed that up. I can't believe they made that deal. Man, stop. Stop, man. Get out of here. This wasn't the case. He wasn't. Well, nobody knew he was going to. Well, the Brewers certainly didn't know. There's always that revisionist history. All right, take a quick time. I'll come back. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
Back to work on Sal. Pitch number 7. Fly ball to deep right. It is back. 1-0 Brewers. Back-to-back games with leadoff homers for the Brew Crew.
Fastball, and Frelick dropped the head on it.
We talk about Terang's power, but Frelick, too, is another dude that all of a sudden is getting all crazy with power lately, too. Like, it's crazy. Highlight courtesy of FanDuel Sports Network, Wisconsin. So yesterday on Twitter, some dude posts that, hey, man, if Paul Skeens gets as big of a strike zone as Peralta did, he may throw a perfect game tonight against the Brewers, right? I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't that just be what happens? I'm here, and not only do they lose, but they get a perfect game thrown against them. So up comes Frelick, ping, see ya. I go right back on my phone, quote tweet it. I'm like, well, that didn't last long. Ha 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 ha. Thank God. Dude, I could not believe it. Like, in my mind going to that game last night, I was thinking to myself, okay, the Sparky jinx, the Sparky curse against Euchre Magic. Who has the stronger force? Dude, it wasn't close. Euchre Magic was like, you ain't a challenge? 14 runs later? Oh, my goodness. Like, this team is just insane right now. Absolutely crazy.
And it's exactly what we were talking about before. It's just everybody. Every single person is contributing in some kind of way. Yesterday we saw Caleb Durbin hit a home run at the end of the game. That's so much fun to see every time he gets to pop one out there.
You know what the other thing was?
What's that?
They were talking about it a little bit earlier today, was you bring a position pitcher in, or position player in to pitch, right? Now, mind you, they have that throwing thing there for the kids, right? So my 9-year-old's like, hey, I'll go try it. I like throwing it, right? So he like throws 43, right, in the little pitching thing. This dude, this outfielder, whatever the hell he was, he's out there pitching 39, 43, 40, 81, 75, 80, 40, 39. And like, you knew when he was lobbing it because the arm slowed down, everything slowed down. The game was over, right?
Right.
Blake Perkins takes a walk? Dude, I'm telling you, if I would have been that pitcher, I may have thrown the ball at him running to first base. Like, it's over, dude. Just swing. Like, who cares? That dude taking a walk. I think Tommy Wirtz was like, that was the most Pat Murphy Brewer-esque thing in the world. Doesn't matter the game's over. Doesn't matter that guy's horsing around. I'm still not going to swing at bad pitches.
Doesn't matter. Like, you still got to go out there and have practice, basically, at that point, at that part of the game. They're the ones that put that player out there. If you don't want this batter to go out there and treat it like a real at-bat, then don't put a position player out there. Put out a pitcher that's going to actually strike him out instead of somebody who's just going to lob balls in there.
Just crazy. And we've talked about this before. If you aren't going to the Potawatomi Sportsbook and putting money on the Brewers, damn near at some point from, I don't know, what would you say, beginning of July or middle to end of June?
Yeah.
If you haven't been doing that on a consistent basis, you missed out on a lot of money.
Especially with Austin Herdina's prophecies that he just puts out there every single day. Yeah.
Yes, the sportsbook manager of the Potawatomi Sportsbook telling you that is the way to do it. Now, speaking of the Potawatomi Sportsbook, fantasy football players, have your draft at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, right? It's 2 levels. They're going to let you do your fantasy football draft in the second level. So you're looking straight at like their 2,000 square foot center screen. Think about that. That's like the size of people's houses. Bigger than the size of my house, but gigantic, right? So you and up to like 13 of your other buddies, so 14 teams total, going to be up there. They're going to have the big long tables, the chairs, all that. They have a podium where you can stand up and announce your picks. They've got poster board. They've got stickers. They've got a whole smorgasbord of food they're going to put out for you and your buddies. And you each get 3 drinks. Now, it's going to cost you a little something to do it, but man, you are going to be telling everybody you know at work and everybody else how cool of an experience that was being at the Potawatomi Sportsbook doing your draft. Go to Potawatomi.com/sportsbook to reserve your day and time now. Potawatomi.com/sportsbook. It is now 6-5 as Brian Reynolds, who hit one. What did he hit one off of Shelby Miller, right?
Yep. Shelby Miller, now Nick Mears.
Now he hit a 2-run homer off of Nick Mears. So it's Mears 5, Brewers 6, at this point now a 1-run game, top of 6.
Tommy said to wait till the 8th inning to make sure you can get your free burgers. This is why. You got to be careful sometimes.
Speaking of those free burgers, George Webb, for those of you that are invested in this, is not going to announce the day and time of getting the free burgers until tomorrow at noon. So you are not going to be able to go to George Webb today and get them, or tonight, or tomorrow morning for that matter, and maybe not even tomorrow. They're going to announce the day and time tomorrow at noon. So I would imagine it will be some point over the weekend, early next week, to which Charlie's like, well, what the hell's the point of that? Why can't we just have them today? Because they're going to have to order all of this meat and all the burgers and everything else in order to make this work, right? So it makes sense. Maybe a little bit inconvenient for those of you that want them today, but you're not going to get them today. All right, coming up next, our green and gold update. The Packers are beat up and hurt, and we're going to talk about what that means to what the beginning of their schedule looks like. That's straight ahead. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.